It is Tuesday, which of course means it's time to answer the questions you guys send in every single week on the BrendenPlayz forums at BrendenPlayz.com/forums or in the YouTube comments section down below. You can also send in a voicemail on BrendenPlayz.com as well by clicking the green button on the right-hand side of the page. We are available on Spreaker. That's, I guess, the home of Let's Talk Tuesdays. Little Spreaker update as well. We actually accumulated over 100,000 plays and downloads. So 100,000 plays and downloads combined. So that's pretty cool. You know, it's including the YouTube views, obviously, and the downloads we've been getting from iTunes. So over 100,000 combined. So that's really, really cool. Also available on iTunes, like I just said. Stitcher is probably the best way to go if you're on Android, getting the Stitcher app and listen to the show there. iHeartRadio is also good, and of course YouTube. So that's a few different ways you guys can get the show. And as well as that, I want to give a quick shout out to our Patreon supporters who have been supporting the show once again, and for another month. I really want to thank everyone that has been supporting the show here. I know I kind of neglected the Patreon a little bit. I haven't done the extra show that I was going to do. It's in the works. I want to get that done very, very soon. I do apologize for being a little lazier, I guess you could say, with that, but obviously I've had quite a stressful week. And a shout out this month to Rex Michael Clark, Callum Williams, Samir, Sandman, Bashka, who all have supported the show. So big thank you to each and every one of you who have been supporting the show and been really, really great. Obviously the Patreon is a fantastic way to really kind of support the show and make sure that the show can keep going. Also shouting out Necess and my boy Busy Bee, and these are our big Patreon supporters. A big shout out to those guys. Obviously if you want to have something promoted, make sure you email me, BrendenPlayz. Brendan at BrendenPlayz.com is the email, so make sure you email me something there. Alrighty, so you might be wondering, why is this week's show a little bit later than usual again? I do want to apologize. I actually did record the show yesterday. I actually got all the way up until the questions. So I was about to answer some of the questions that you guys have been sending in this week, and my show deleted itself. So I recorded about 50 minutes of it, and then it deleted itself. So I lost all 50 minutes, and I was so pissed off. I was in a bad mood for the rest of the night. It was getting late, so I decided I'm going to wait and come back and do it the next day. So that's why I'm here right now, I guess. But yeah, so it was a little frustrating that you get the whole show pretty much done, and then it deletes itself, and you lose a whole show. So that was very, very annoying, and I actually thought the show was really good, so I'm hoping I can replicate it. Obviously, I'm a firm believer of the second time round, it's never as good, so we'll hope it's good. We'll still hope it's good, but we'll hope. But yeah, so we kind of kick it off this week with the WWE 2K16 chat. Obviously, the game came out last week. We touched on it a little bit in last week's episode of Let's Talk Tuesdays. I guess we'll talk more about it today, and also want to kind of relate it back to my channel as well, especially with Universe Mode. So we'll talk about that today. So WWE 2K16, we've had it for a week now. I guess after a week, what are my thoughts? What are my opinions on the game? You know, I definitely enjoy the game. The reviews going around basically say it's about an 8, an 8.5. Even some cases, I think, have got up to nearly 9s. So it's generally quite a positive reception towards the game, which is good, which is great. It's good for a YouTuber like me who focuses on this game. It's really, really good. But yeah, so it's cool that everyone has been enjoying WWE 2K16. I personally would probably give it around about an 8. I wouldn't give it much more than that. There's a lot of glitches and a lot of bugs to the game that, yes, it can be patched, but the fact that it's already been a week and they haven't got one out yet is kind of frustrating. I mean, surely they would have had some beta testing done or something like that. I know they flew out some YouTubers to play the game and like that. I'm surely they could have, you know, done some kind of testing to make sure this game was right. But or, you know, obviously be aware of these problems and have a patch ready to go around about release date, but unfortunately they haven't done that yet. So that's a little frustrating, and what I'm talking about is, you know, you put on a new custom attire for somebody, they go invisible. I also did the Wyatt family trio entrance, and after the match, when they attacked somebody, the person they attacked went invisible. I've had a lot of problems downloading content on community creations. I think a lot of people just kind of say that's me, but I don't know. I've had some problems on community creations as well. When you download a show, it's not working properly. So the whole downloading system at the moment is a big problem. It's a disaster. And obviously on Universe Mode, you can't create title matches and things like that. So that's also a real pain. So for the most part, there is some definite issues, but they can be fixed. And once they fix those issues, I personally think this is a good game. I really do enjoy playing the game. I had a chance to play some My Career on Twitch. Probably played 4 hours of it, I think. And I'm still in NXT. I haven't really got that far. I've been losing a lot. If you've been tuning into the Twitch streams, you'll know that I've been losing a lot as El Merica, who is El Jobador at the moment. He's not exactly all that great. But I noticed that I was versing the same guy over and over and over every freaking week. Two shows a week I was versing the same guy. It was just getting ridiculous at that point. And it wasn't in a good way. It wasn't like, yeah, let's get this guy. Let's beat the hell out of him. Let's go. It was like, oh my god, again? Really? Do I have to? I mean, I don't really want to face him again. Are you sure? Can I face someone else? It was getting to that point, and that's a problem. So some repetition certainly involved in My Career, and it's certainly been always the case. That was kind of like my big issue with it last year, that I felt like I was just doing the same thing over and over and over, and for such a long time. It wasn't really until I kind of hit SmackDown on My Career that I felt as though storylines were happening and some cool stuff was starting to occur. So let's hope it doesn't take as long this time, and I'm now out of the tutorial, and I'm actually have all the fully functions available to me, but yeah, I just want more interesting storylines and things to start happening that certainly kind of interest me. It's been lacking at the moment. I had a chance to play some Showcase Mode. Only played the first one, but from what I've seen, it's pretty much the same as always in terms of Showcase Mode. It's good. I like it, but Showcase Mode isn't for me. I just don't. I like the concept, but I just get bored with it really quickly. Just playing matches and reliving matches, it's okay. I mean, I'm not a overly big fan of it, but yeah, so it felt as though like the showcase, they skipped over so much. They kind of covered a lot in the intro package, and then they kind of skipped over a lot. I know they go back and do the bonus matches with it, but I felt as though they just skipped over a lot of things. But yeah, I guess it is what it is. They want to focus on Austin's WWE career, I guess. But yeah, it would be nice to kind of focus on a few different things earlier on, and perhaps the Hollywood Blondes and a little bit more of his ECW time, something like that. I don't know, but that's just me. And I guess, finally, Universe Mode. A lot to talk about, I suppose, with Universe Mode. And I kind of related back to my channel and how my channel's doing. And I know this is this is going to sound like, oh, woe is me, or a bit of a sob story. Or, I just want to say that, Universe Mode, it's been a bit frustrating this year, honestly, to make it. I haven't had a single cutscene yet, so that's a little concerning. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong there, what's going on, but I haven't been able to get any cutscenes. My big problem is that obviously my channel hasn't really taken off all that much from this year's game, and I'm a little disappointed about that. I really wanted my channel to kind of grow into something bigger this year. I mean, try and hit 40,000, maybe even 50,000 was a little optimistic of me. But we didn't really get much growth this year, and I'm not sure if that's down to me not putting on good content. Probably is. But I just kind of feel disappointed that I didn't really get that growth that I was hoping for. I'm not sure what's going on. And my videos not getting seen by people, people just not being aware of them, or people click on, but they don't really enjoy it enough to stick around. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's a little disappointing. I would have liked to have, bumped up a little bit more on the subscriber count and really grow the channel a little bit more and get it out there to a few more people. But I guess that's life, isn't it? That's YouTube for you. It's sometimes you'll make it, sometimes you won't. I haven't quite made it yet. I'm still working hard to get there, but I feel like I'm working a lot of hours for not much gain at the moment, and that's a little disappointing. I would have liked to have, just bumped up a little bit more, and all I want at the end of the day, I just want my channel to be seen by as many people as I possibly can. I know I'm in a market that's not going to really offer all that many new fans, and that's a problem to me, obviously. But yeah, so I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind getting a bit more of an increase, but the thing is, people could say to me all the time, "Oh, you got to play this game to get more subscribers," things like that. the thing is, like, I wouldn't be anywhere where I am right now without the WWE 2K series. So I've got to be very thankful that I've had the opportunity to even get this far. But I just feel as though right now I've been just a little bit disadvantaged this year, and obviously a lot of the other YouTubers getting their content out a week earlier than when I even have the game, so they've got videos out a week before the game's even out. That's left me at a huge disadvantage this year, because I feel as though people have kind of come and gone. They've seen the content on this game. Oh yeah, this looks cool. Let me check out this. Alright, yeah, this is cool. And they've kind of already maybe perhaps picked their universe mode they want to follow, or they've seen enough content, they don't need to see any more. So I feel as though that I've just kind of missed out because other people have got their stuff out earlier than me, and man, I just a little disappointed, just a little bummed out this year that I didn't quite grow as much. And you know, I've had a lot of issues in recording videos this time around, and things have been a lot harder to get the videos out. And I feel as though the pressure's really on. Like, I feel as though like the first lot of videos leading up to the pay-per-view is such an important time period. You want to make every video as epic as it possibly can be, to try and, you know, lure new fans in and keep them around. So I've had a lot of stress trying to make that happen. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But, you know, I think for the most part I've done some pretty good content. Some videos I've done have been pretty good. I certainly thought my first few were really cool, and I think you guys certainly enjoyed them as well. But yeah, I just feel as though, I guess, I don't know, I just wanted a little bit more, you know, reaction. But you know, for the most part, you know, the likes and the response and all the comments and everything you guys have been leaving have been relatively positive. I had a few people kind of harp on about the fact that my promos maybe aren't great and the voice acting that I do is ridiculous. But I just kind of, you know, block them, or, you know, tell them to click off, because honestly, like, at the moment, like, the promos, yes, I don't put on the right voice. I don't talk like freaking Bray Wyatt when I cut a promo. I don't talk, you know, I don't sound like Paul Heyman when I cut a promo with Paul Heyman. It's not going to happen. I'm not a voice actor. I'm just a guy who talks, just a kid who just talks over, you know, video games. Like, that's it. You know, I'm not a voice actor. And if I try to put on a voice, you'd think it'd be even more ridiculous. So a lot of people kind of focusing on that point, which I think is kind of silly, you know, whatever. I mean, you could just take with a great... It's 2 minutes out of a 30-minute video. I don't know why people have kind of been focusing on that too much. And a lot of people have been criticizing how people say, oh man, you got to go get voice acting lessons. You've got to learn how to do this. If you can't do voices, don't do them at all. You know, it's just kind of like ridiculous. But yeah, that's really been the only kind of criticism I've really had, which is good, I suppose. If that's the only thing that people are really focusing on, that's good. I guess the rest of it is enjoyable. So yeah, it's been a pretty good response from you guys. But like, I guess to sum it all up, I just would have hoped that more people would have come along to the channel. I haven't got a lot of big views on the videos, haven't got a lot of big subscribers. I'm not sure if that's the case for a lot of people, that maybe this game just doesn't have the hype and people aren't searching for content about it on YouTube. That could be the case, but, you know, I just feel as though I thought this was going to be my year. I thought this was going to be the year of BrendenPlayz, where I kind of branch out and hit that 50k mark and start, you know, my rise to getting to somewhere on YouTube. But unfortunately, it just doesn't seem like that. But I guess, you know, my channel is one of those channels that's going to be one that you kind of click along later on, and you'll stumble across it later on, and you'll check it out. I think that's what my channel really is. It's not one that you gotta, you know, that you'll be searching up for, because I don't make glitches, I don't make funny stuff, I don't do all those little skit things, you know, with the game, which obviously a lot of other people do. That's very popular, and that's kind of like a lot of people, why a lot of people subscribe to many channels, to be, you know, to have a laugh and things like that. My show is more of a, you know, an actual show, like a realistic simulation show. So that's what I kind of, you know, aim to achieve. And I guess if people aren't really interested in watching WWE, you know, they can come along to my universe mode and probably get some enjoyment out of that. I guess at least that's what I think of it, and I try and, you know, go over the top with it and really create my own, you know, WWE through the game. But yeah, so I guess that's what I'm trying to do, and, you know, it's kind of hit or miss, isn't it? But anyways, I guess we'll move on from that. Enough of me kind of sooking and complaining that I'm not getting the subscribers, but yeah, it's just been a stressful couple of weeks. I guess, you know, as well as the WrestleMania video didn't really do as well at all. You know, didn't really do that well at all for me. Considering last year's WrestleMania had over 170,000 views, this year's WrestleMania had 7,000 views. So, little disappointing that my last few videos that I've really put a lot of effort in hasn't really reached the success that I was hoping for. But I guess there's always next video, and I guess, you know, the moral of the story is you don't give up until, you know, you got nothing left. And honestly, I've kind of felt like this week that I've had nothing left. I kind of have been to that point where I've thought about, my God, I mean, what am I doing? I'm putting all this, you know, hours and hours and effort in, and, you know, things are just not working for me. And perhaps I need to change. Perhaps I need to kind of switch up my style. Perhaps I need to do something different to try and bring people in. I'm not sure what I have to do, but I guess that's something that I have to figure out. But yeah, so it's been a stressful few weeks, and, you know, once the new game hype kind of, you know, blows over a little bit, things will go back to normal, and, you know, I can do it more casually and have a little bit more fun with it, because the last couple of weeks of making videos hasn't been all that fun. It's been too stressful. I want to go back to just, you know, kicking back and really enjoying it. So hopefully that comes along very soon. Alrighty, so that'll do with that. We'll go on to Monday Night Raw this week, and this week's Raw, not a bad show. I actually thought this week's Raw was pretty good. I got a few things I want to talk about, and it's not really in order. I'm just going to be jumping around here and there, and you guys can follow along. But yeah, so this week's Raw, I thought overall not a bad show. I enjoyed it. I will say that I kind of skipped around a little bit. I didn't really watch a lot of things. I was kind of just focused on doing some things. The thing is with Raw, though, I kind of feel like Raw is 3 hours of me just doing other stuff. Just 3 hours of me going along and editing videos, or, I don't know, playing games. It's not really 3 hours of me watching Raw. It's 3 hours of me with Raw in the background and doing some other things. So I think that's a bit of a problem with Raw. I guess that just goes to show the state of Raw right now, that it's not really keeping my interest for 3 hours. And that's a long time. Like, 3 hours is a long time. And I struggle with 3 hour movies, but 3 hours of Raw every single week when it's not all that great is difficult. But 3 hour movies, when it's intense and it's incredible, even then I kind of struggle. But 3 hours of Raw when it's not all that great, of course you're going to have some issues there. But this week's Raw, we had Paige become the #1 contender for the Divas Championship, winning the Fatal 4-Way matchup. No surprise that Paige won, let's be honest. No real surprise. It makes sense storyline-wise. If Sasha Banks won, well, look, Sasha Banks versus Charlotte. Considering that Paige and Charlotte and Becky have been having issues for the last couple of months, well, last month, I guess, why would Sasha Banks get that title shot? It just doesn't make sense. Sasha Banks will get her time. She'll get her shot after this whole thing kind of blows over. So Paige getting her one-on-one opportunity, I think, is a good decision. Now we move on to Survivor Series, Charlotte versus Paige. I think Paige will probably win that match. Honestly, I think Paige will get the title back. I think Charlotte just hasn't been that great as a champion. I think Paige is a little bit more interesting at the moment, and I say a little bit more because I haven't really been enjoying the whole Paige heel turn just quite yet. I mean, it's because it's been back and forth. You know, 1 minute she's against them, the next minute she's back with them, and now she's against them again. Just pick one, you know, just fucking decide what you want to do. You know, if you want to be against them, then do it. If not, just be with them. I don't know, it's just been annoying. So hopefully they just kind of go, okay, she's against them, and we'll go on from there. But hopefully that's the case. But I think she'll probably win the title back just because Charlotte just hasn't been that great as a champion. Let's be honest. Charlotte is not over. The crowd support isn't great. Her promos are lackluster. Even Paige has a better promo at the moment. So I just think Charlotte, they've tried to push her too soon. And really the one they could have pushed up ASAP may have been Sasha Banks. But even then, I get the feeling that she might not have done all that great. So I just think a little bit of a problem with Charlotte, and they got to give her some time to build her up a little bit more before they give her this prominent role again. Whereas Paige, the crowd know her, she's got some support, she gets decent reaction, so I think she's probably the one to go with, at least for the time being. And I suppose you can turn Sasha Banks babyface, and you can have Sasha and Paige feud it out. Bray Wyatt had a great promo on this week's Raw as well. Really enjoyed his promo work. Last week I kind of criticized that I wasn't really satisfied with the promo that he did, but this week he really killed it. Fantastic, you know, just explained some things that I wanted to know, and it just seemed like, you know, the Wyatt family are these killer heels right now. Like, it just felt like, holy shit, has Bray Wyatt murdered The Undertaker and Kane? Like, well, you know, it was intense, it was brutal. I just really, really enjoyed it, and they did the whole promo package thing as well with Taker and Kane. just kind of like a memorial for them, wasn't it? It was just like, oh, these guys are gone, these guys are dead, out with the old, in with the new. But my only question is right now, where does this lead? Where are we going with this? Is obviously a Survivor Series 4-on-4. I would love to see it, but are we going to see it? I'm not sure. Are we going to see Taker and Kane come back and take on the Wyatts? And if so, who does Taker and Kane get on their team? I really don't know. They're kind of going along with this whole, darkness guys, your Kanes and your Undertakers. I guess the only guy I can really see fitting that is Sting, but Sting's position in the company is up in the air, and also maybe Finn Balor as well. I mean, he has the whole demon thing. It would suit, it would fit in, but I just don't know if Finn Balor should be getting the debut right now, because I feel as though a lot of the time debuting people without a vignette package, without months and months of build-up, is just a recipe for a disaster. Because right now you look at the Lucha Dragons, you look at Neville, you look at the Ascension, you look at all these guys who just kind of get thrown out there. And now in recent memory, you look at Tyler Breeze. You look at these guys who just come out there and go, oh, here he is. Here's Neville. Here's Tyler Breeze. Without any build-up, without anything, I guess they expect you to watch NXT, and that's the vignette package. That's the promo packages. They expect you to watch NXT every single week and know who these characters are. But let's be honest, perhaps only a third. That's even generous. I would say maybe a fourth, a quarter, I should say, a quarter or a fifth of Raw's audience watches NXT. I don't watch NXT, but obviously I know who they are. But I would say at least a third of the Raw viewership don't know anybody in NXT or aren't following it. So that's a tough way to introduce somebody. Just throw them out there and say, "This is Tyler Breeze from NXT. Here he is." That's pretty much all they've done. They haven't really introduced him. All we know about him is that he likes sitting on a comfy chair and he's dating Summer Rae. And, I guess I do feel sorry for him for dating Summer Rae, but that's all I know. I feel sorry for the guy, but that's it. So they're just throwing people out there without the decent build-up. What's going on? Like, why haven't we had the 2 months of vignette packages? And a guy like Finn Balor certainly needs that, so I wouldn't have Finn Balor debut at Survivor Series because it's too soon. You got to have a guy like a demon Finn Balor. You got to be building him up for something huge. So just to throw him out there for Survivor Series just doesn't seem good to me. Jack Swagger appeared on Monday Night Raw for the first time in months. He's back, and it looks as though he's going to be feuding with Alberto Del Rio for the United States Championship. That's the big rumor going around right now. And I mean, after the segment with Zeb, Del Rio, and Jack, I actually kind of wanted to see this match. I don't know what was wrong with me. I don't know why, but I kind of want to see the match. Obviously, Del Rio is just going to beat the shit out of Jack Swagger. We all know that. But I kind of just want to see, this match happen. And I guess it makes sense. And, Zeb Coulter just coming out with no, talk about Jack Swagger was kind of weird, but now they're going to kind of address that and fill in the blanks there, which is good. So I'm happy about that. So I'm more than happy to see this match happen. I guess it's just a bit of a placeholder for when Cena comes back, I suppose. What's Del Rio going to do next is the big question. We don't know. I guess you beat Swagger, wait for Cena to come back and do the whole Del Rio and Cena thing for a couple months. I'm not sure, but I guess that's the way I see it going down. Randy Orton's going to be out for about 4 to 6 months as well. That's the big talk of the town. He got injured of doing all things. And look at all the things that Randy does in the ring. Look at all the things Randy does in his life. He gets injured by taking out the trash. That's right, he took out the trash and he dislocated his shoulder. Unbelievable, isn't it? A wrestler gets injured by taking the trash out. I find that hilarious, but Randy's going to be getting surgery because he's had a bad shoulder. I mean, dislocated shoulders is kind of a regular thing for Orton. So he's going to be out for 4 to 6 months getting surgery to fix up his shoulder, which is a good thing. Go and get your shoulder fixed. We don't really need Randy Orton on TV right now. He had a great run earlier in the year. He's kind of faded away in the back. ever since he kind of met with Sheamus, and he's lost my interest because he's been dealing with Sheamus, and then he kind of went with the whole Wyatt family thing, teaming up with Reigns and Dean, which was okay, but I don't think it's much of a loss if we have Randy Orton on TV. It just kind of makes me wonder. No Randy for 4 to 6 months, no Cena for the next couple of months, well, 6 weeks. What are the WWE going to do? Are they going to push someone into this prominent role? Are they going to finally try and establish a new top guy? Are they going to finally give Dean Ambrose the push? Or, is it going to be just Reigns? Are they going to finally establish a few different guys as a top guy? I would like to say yes, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening. The Usos also returned as well in the 5-on-5 match in the main event. Looks as though they're going to be feuding with the New Day, which is no real surprise. I mean, the New Day need a new opponent. So the Usos fill that void quite nicely. I think it's great to have them back. I have missed them. I think the tag team division has missed them. So the tag team division has been very, very weak. And obviously bringing back the Dudleys, you got the Usos now, you got the New Day. Not too bad. They've got a few decent teams there now, so it's pretty decent. I'm okay with it. Looks as though the Lucha Dragons might be the other team to kind of be built up to try and take on the New Day soon. A victory over Bad News Barrett and Sheamus, which, by the way, pairing these two guys up is a gift from the wrestling gods. Thank you so much, because now I don't have 2 piss breaks per show. I only have 1. You put Sheamus and Bad News Barrett together, I don't have to take 2 pisses. I can only take 1 because I don't want to watch these guys in 2 different matches. Now I can only not watch these guys in 1. It's fantastic. So I didn't watch that match against the Lucha Dragons. I think I saw the ending. I was actually surprised the Lucha Dragons won. I was expecting just a Bad News Barrett and Sheamus beatdown, but they lost. I was shocked. But I guess it seems to me that the New Day seems as though they're the future, and they're going to be having those titles for a while. So they're going to probably feud with the Usos, perhaps even beat the Usos and retain those titles, move on to the Lucha Dragons, beat them. Perhaps they might even do a good enough job to establish the Lucha Dragons as a new top team so you can use them as potentially new tag champs. But that's a few months off for sure. So, yeah, I mean, it's certainly very interesting at the moment. I'm quite intrigued to see where this goes, and I guess the fact that the Bad News Barrett and Sheamus team lost is a little bit of a surprise, and I'm very pleased because those two guys suck. Honestly, you guys have listened to me talk about it for months now. They are the top 2 members of the shit list. I've tried to give Sheamus a go when he turned heel. He just bombed and just terrible. And not only that, Bad News Barrett has just been awful for months and months. Awful for years. I mean, honestly, the guy just doesn't have it. So I'm more than happy to see those two guys lose again. And it kind of makes me happy. So, yeah, I mean, thank you, wrestling. Thank you, WWE, because you have given 2 of the shittest guys and teamed them up together. So now we don't have 2 shit matches per show. We only have 1. Well, that's being generous, but 2, instead of 2, a Bad News Barrett and a Sheamus match, we only have to deal with 1. So thank you. And finally, the 5-on-5 Survivor Series tag team match. I definitely enjoyed it. You guys know I'm a big fan of the tag team concept, the 5-on-5. I really do enjoy the 5-on-5. Probably my favorite match type. I loved how they were showing the old Survivor Series tags. I don't know how why they didn't use 2001, which I thought was the best Survivor Series 5-on-5 tag team match. My favorite, that's for sure. But I liked the 2005 one. I thought that was a really good one as well. And last year's I actually really enjoyed too. I thought it was cool reliving the whole Dolph Ziggler comeback, and that was great. Just goes to show that they screwed up Ziggler big time. This guy could have really gone somewhere from that, but they just did absolutely nothing with him, and that just goes to show him losing every week on Raw. It's exactly the same. He's feuding with Tyler Breeze of all people, who I see Tyler Breeze just going nowhere. I think this guy is going to be on Superstars in the main event in the next 2 months doing nothing. So Dolph Ziggler, this poor guy, this time last year he was on fire, and now he's doing nothing. But yeah, the 5-on-5 was good. Obviously, the Usos coming back, teaming up with Ryback, Ambrose and Reigns. No real surprise there, and I liked it. And it was a nice little sneak peek of what to expect in Survivor Series. We still don't know if there is going to be a 5-on-5 or a 4-on-4. I'm guessing it's going to be Taker and the Wyatts. That would be my guess. But They haven't really kind of alluded towards that yet. They haven't really challenged Taker and Kane to that yet. I'm not sure where they're going with that, but it doesn't really seem as though there's any other logical matches that could take place. Perhaps only, I guess, dare I say it, a Divas one, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't see it happening. Maybe they might do something with the Stardust and Ascension. I know they're kind of hanging around looking at Cesaro a lot. I don't know. I hope they don't do anything with that. But yeah, so that's really it for Monday Night Raw. Not a bad show, like I said. I enjoyed it, and I think Monday Night Raw just it has gotten a little bit better in the last few weeks. You know, there was a few really, really bad shows, but things have gotten slightly better. But still 3 hours is just seems like a drag. This show went for a long time, in my opinion. It just felt really long. Just kind of dragged out a little bit, but. For the most part, I did enjoy myself, and there's some things I definitely liked, as we just discussed. Then another thing I want to talk about this week is the new WWE Breaking Ground show. This is a show that they've kind of just introduced in the last couple of weeks. I think they debuted after Hell in a Cell, and I've watched both episodes. I love it, man. I really do like this show. I think it's a really, really well-made show. I think this show is just really interesting. I personally love watching behind the scenes. I think this is one of my favorite types of shows to watch that the WWE does, you know. It's a reason why I like Total Divas, because I like what's going on behind the scenes. Even though it's all scripted and bullshit, I still like that element of seeing what these guys do with their lives behind the scenes. So this Breaking Ground show, I think, is fantastic. You just kind of get that bit of an insight of what goes on at the Performance Center, what goes on in these NXT rookies' lives, and you get to see some of the guys that are coming through. Like, a lot of these people, they're new and they won't be on TV for a couple of years, but you kind of get to see their development, you get to see who they are, and you get associated with them in some degree. So I think it's a really, really good show just to kind of get more exposure and learn a little bit more about the future talent coming through. But it's also cool that you can kind of see them making decisions backstage, like spoiler alert, I guess, on the second episode, Devin Taylor, she gets fired. So you kind of see all that process going down, which is really, really interesting. And you get to see the doctors, you know, evaluating people. You just kind of see how these tryout camps go and who succeeds and what they're really looking for at a camp and what they're really trying to test these guys on. So for that alone, I really, really do enjoy it. I think it's really interesting. So if you haven't already, make sure you check out Breaking Out. It's a well-made show, I think. You know, it's not a stupid reality show that we're so used to seeing from the WWE. I think this one is a much, much well-made. And if you ever watched ESPN E60, this is like the WWE's version of that. You know, that whole WWE ESPN E60 thing they did, this is WWE's pretty much their own take on it. And I think it's really, really good. So it's probably my favorite thing on the network right now, and I'll be definitely checking it out every single week. And that's really all I have for WWE content this week until we get to our questions. A couple of side notes this week for me personally. Getting a chance to go check out the cricket. It's actually going to be on tomorrow, on Thursday, since it's Wednesday at the moment. Yes, I know it's Wednesday, and I'm meant to be doing it on Tuesday. But so going to the cricket tomorrow, which will be really exciting. I got the tickets yesterday. It's a 5-day test match between Australia and New Zealand, so all you people who aren't really familiar with cricket, you're tuned out already, but it's going to be really cool. I'm really looking forward to going to the cricket. I think I went last year, but I haven't been to a test match since England last came out, which was a couple of years ago, which was phenomenal. I absolutely had a blast. So just going to one day of it. I'm just going to go to the first day, and hopefully the rain stays away. It's been raining for a while, but generally, I'll look out the window right now. It's very sunny, so it's been very hot. But generally it rains at night, so we should be pretty good in terms of rain. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to doing that. I've got the cheap seats this time. I haven't been able to fork out the extra cash to get in the better seats. But honestly, I don't really want to do that this year, because last time I went, it was so hot. It was excruciating. I was just dying and melting away all day of the Australian summer. So, which has only just kind of kicked in the last week. You know, the summer has only just started. It's only just started to get hot, and normally it gets hot in August, but it's only just started to get hot now, late October and early November, which is great. So I like summer, but man, summer's a little bit too hot in Australia. I like where I live, the winters is perfect. It's never hot, it's never cold, it's just the perfect weather. But when it's summer, oh my god, it's humid, it's just terrible. So you're just slowly dying. So I'm getting the cheap seats this year at the cricket so I can sit up in the high stands so I can get under the shade, and I'll knock back a few beers and just have a good time. I think that'll be certainly very exciting to come along and see that, and hopefully Australia win. Otherwise, I'll probably cry and be depressed for the next couple of weeks. But it should be a good series. Honestly, Australia and New Zealand both have very, very good, very good teams. Australia kind of rebuilding a little bit, but still their bowling attack is first class. New Zealand, really good side as well. So I think it's going to be very, very close. I think if our new batsman can fire, I think Australia will win. But that's the only thing I'm kind of worried about. Our batting lineup is really, really weak and inexperienced, I suppose. Now that we've lost Watson and we've lost Clark, and Rogers as well. So a few guys are kind of moving along, and we haven't been able to really rebuild yet. So hopefully some of these new guys, like Khawaja and Burns coming in, can get the job done. I'm still not very sold on both of them. I think they're kind of inconsistent, but we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. In other news, I guess, what is Brendan playing this week? I haven't really been up to all that much. I've been really hyped to get Halo 5. I really want Halo. I've been watching people play it, and I'm so jealous. I mean, I haven't got my Xbox One at the moment. It's at my other house, which I won't have access to. Won't be going back there for about a month now. So I can't play the Xbox One, which is a little annoying. I really, really want Halo because it looks so fun. Because you guys don't know, first-person shooters is my favorite type of game, and I've always been a fan of Halo. I never had the Xbox 360, so I was never able to play Halo 3 in its prime. Never been able to play Halo at its best online, so I've never really been able to play Halo online at all. I had the Master Chief Collection, but we all know how much of a disaster that was. So to get Halo 5, I think it looks as though it's more my style of game as well, and I just can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it. Also, Black Ops comes out in a couple days as well, Black Ops 3, so I'll be definitely picking that up. Looking forward to getting my hands on that. I think that's going to be very exciting to get Black Ops as well. I think Black Ops will be a lot of fun, honestly. I think it's generally a very, very good game, the Black Ops series, and the multiplayer is always really good. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on zombies as well. So I'm pretty keen to get Black Ops 3, and also Fallout 4 is not that far away either. I think it's like 5 days away, 6 days away, or something like that. Very, very close to getting Fallout 4, and that is going to be a game I play the living hell out of. So I cannot wait. All these great games coming out just when exams start to begin, so it's kind of depressing in that regard as well. But so I'll still be kind of grinding away 2K16, but I'll definitely be picking up and enjoying Black Ops 3 and Fallout as well in the process. Also, be getting the new Need for Speed, even though it's kind of got some bad reviews. My friend's going to be buying it for me, so free game, can't complain. So I'm going to be pretty keen to get my hands on that. I do like races that are more casual. The Burnout Racer is the perfect racer for me. The simulated one, like your Project Car and all those types of games, the Forza Motorsport, those ones, those are a little bit too realistic for me, and it's just not as fun. I like Forza Horizon 2. I really, really enjoy playing that on the Xbox One. I really, really like that, but Burnout obviously is my go-to, and I really wish they'd make another Burnout. But Need for Speed should be pretty good, and it seems as though it's going to be kind of fun, but some bad reviews on it. But I'll check it out and kind of give my own opinion on it. So in the next couple of weeks, I suppose I might be allocating some time for a little bit of a game review discussion and kind of give my thoughts and opinions on all these different games that are coming out, because I guess that's really what the talk of the town is. November and December is always the new game season. I haven't got Assassin's Creed Syndicate yet. That's the other new game that's kind of dropped recently that I haven't picked up. I haven't finished Unity yet. I did finish Black Flag. I haven't got the Platinum on Black Flag. I need to go back and get that done, but I haven't really messed with Unity at all. So I'm not sure if I'll get Syndicate. If I do, maybe I'll wait until I finish Unity. I don't know if I ever will finish Unity because the game was terrible. So I don't know, but that's kind of what I've got going on in the gaming agenda right now. And basically, making videos takes a lot of my time, so I haven't really been able to play for my own, leisure purposes recently. But hopefully, when things start to settle down a little bit, I'll be able to get back on that and just kick back and have fun. Alrighty, so we have a lot of questions this week coming in, and some voicemails and some questions from the YouTube and the forum, so I want to go ahead and answer some of those questions for you guys. Of course, if you do want to send in your own question, you can do it by leaving one in the YouTube comments section or on the forums at BrendenPlayz.com/forums, or in the official Let's Talk Tuesdays question thread. And there is many questions there, and you can leave one of your own there. Sign up to the forums, it's just free. Most of you guys should be on there already from the Slammy Awards. Of course, that's going on as well. All these Slammy Awards are now available to vote on as well. So, the Slammy Awards, that's another thing I got to get done. I'm going to leave that voting up until probably the weekend, and then we'll do it there. I'm trying to have Extreme Rules out by the weekend. I want to stream it live on Saturday afternoon. The last time I did it Saturday night. This time I want to do it about Saturday afternoon. So probably like 12 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. That's kind of like how I want it to go down, which means I need to get a bit of a move on. I need to get cracking, so I got to get some work done. But that's kind of the plan right now. But hopefully we can achieve that, and hopefully we can get there. And because I feel as though if I don't stream it live on Saturday, I may as well not stream it at all. Saturday, Sunday. It has to be on a weekend, I think. Otherwise, nobody will really watch it. So that's the plan there. So we'll try and get that out when we can. It might be on a Sunday instead. We'll see. But we'll see how we go with the scheduling. So check out the forums, and you can vote on the Slammy Awards and kind of stay in tune with everything Brendan plays, and leave your question there. Also, voicemails, BrendenPlayz.com. Like I said earlier in the video, on the right-hand side of the page, and you click that big green button. And as long as your mic is good enough that I can understand what you're saying and leave a question. The thing is with the voicemails, I don't want voicemails that are more than like 30 seconds long, and if your mic is really unbearable, I can't play on the show because people don't want to hear a potato. People don't want AIDS in their ears, so try and use a decent mic if you can, and try and keep your voicemails short and sweet to the point. Alrighty, so let's go straight into our couple of voicemails we have this week.
Hey, Brendan. Quick question for you. Just wanted to see if they do a Team Taker versus Team Wyatt at Survivor Series, who you thought would be a part of Team Taker. Any opinions?
Like I said earlier, I'm not exactly sure who I would put on there. I mean, I would have said Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton, but it looks like Dean Ambrose isn't associated, or doesn't care about the Wyatts anymore. Randy Orton's out, so I really just don't know. Do they bring up two NXT guys? I think that's probably a bad idea. Does it just a handicap match? Taker and Kane go at it alone, trying to take on the Wyatts? I don't know. I mean, it's a tough call. I just don't know. I mean, is the match even going to take place? That's the first question I want to know. Are we even going to see it? So, unfortunately, I just can't give you an answer because I have no clue. I mean, who would you put on there? I mean, in the comments below, who would you put on Team Taker? I mean, if they're going around this whole demon kind of route, there's no one really else other than like Sting or Finn Balor that has that dark character to them. So I've got no idea.
Hey Brendan, it's Mike. Who do you think will win between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins for the world title? Thanks.
I think without a doubt Seth Rollins will probably retain in some kind of way. I think if you're going to give Reigns the title, you want to build him up to something bigger than just a random title match, in my opinion. I see Ambrose getting involved in some kind of way, whether it screws Reigns over or kind of costs Reigns the match. Ambrose might be coming out to try and save Reigns from a chair shot or something like that. And, you could see a kind of screwy finish where Reigns kind of gets distracted by Ambrose and Rollins gets the roll-up or something stupid like that, and have Ambrose end up costing Reigns the match, and then there's a little bit of heated tension between the two, and you just do a slow build-up towards the turn on each other. I could see that happening. Or, I mean, just a straight-up, heel turn wouldn't make much sense. I think I'd probably go that way. So I think Rollins walks out as a champion. I mean, Reigns, yes, as a champion would be great. I just feel as though I would wait and pull the trigger on at a bigger event, perhaps at WrestleMania. Alright, so we'll move on to our other questions we have coming in this week. This one comes from Bacon Assassin Gaming. Do you think they could push Jack Swagger into a US title matchup, then making him an upper mid-card star? I mean, Jack Swagger could certainly be an upper mid-card guy, or at least have a prominent role in the mid-card. The fact that he hasn't been doing anything is kind of ridiculous. Never really been a big fan of the guy, but I think he's worth, using. I don't think him jobbing out every week is the right call. I like his look that he has right now, and he has a good size to him, so the only thing he really lacks is his promos, and as long as he's not talking, he's okay. It's just because he's, voice. So I think Jack Swagger can certainly be a decent upper mid card. I probably wouldn't put upper mid card. I would say mid carder. So I would say yes, because he's been a world champion before. They obviously have seen something in Swagger in the past. So I think Swagger should be doing at least more than what he's doing now. So giving him a US title match at Survivor Series, I think it'd be decent, and it might be a decent way to kind of get him back on TV in some kind of way. Next up from Jacob Radley, do you think the last generation consoles should have career mode? No, I don't think so. I think it's time that people kind of move towards the next generation. And do you really want a really crappy version of the career mode? I mean, if you're still buying the last generation W2K games, I really feel sorry for you, because they are just a reskin version. It's just the same game with a 6 instead of a 5 and a couple of different guys on the roster. Let's be honest. It's a waste of time, it's a waste of money, and I would just put that $60 away into saving up for your next gen console, because there's no real point in buying the new WWE2K games. They're just a joke. So should they have career mode? No, because it's only going to be a watered down, really, really bad version of it. So you might as well just focus all your time and attention into making the next gen console, the current gen consoles, better, and making them, that career mode, as good as it possibly can be, rather than trying to appeal to both. It's just a sacrifice you're going to have to make. They just kind of give you the option to buy the game on the old gen if you want it, but you shouldn't be wanting it, because it's terrible. So, yeah, no. Next question comes from Hendrik G. Do you think Ziggler is ever going to get a real title push again? Well, if it didn't happen last year, can it ever happen again? I don't know. I think he'll be destined to be a mid-carder for the rest of his career. I mean, the thing, I think, for Ziggler, if he could go away and leave the WWE, he probably should have done this when his contract came up. If he went away and had success outside the WWE and came back, I think they would see him a different light. But the fact that he's just, hanging around and just not really doing much, they're just not really giving him much of an opportunity, and I don't think they ever will. The thing is, Ziggler, he's getting up there in age. He's, 36 years old or something like that. He's been around in the company for over 10 years. So Ziggler has been around for quite some time. So I think it's nearly at the point where you kind of go, well, is he ever going to make it? Is this it for Ziggler? I mean, he's been a couple-time world champion, but they never really gave him the ball ever. So I think, like I said earlier on in the video, in the podcast, if they didn't really give him the push after Survivor Series, will they ever do it again? I'm not sure. I just don't think so. I mean, Ziggler has all the talent, all the potential. I think he could definitely be. And I mean, if Seth Rollins is main eventing, there's no reason why Dolph Ziggler couldn't be doing it as well, honestly. So I think Ziggler should be getting there. I just don't think the WWE will ever give him that chance again. Considering his age now, they might feel as though he's got, it's going to be too difficult and take too long for them to push him into the main spot again, and they might not see it worthwhile. Perhaps Ziggler never really moved merchandise, which I think is probably the case, because his merchandise, no man would ever be seen dead wearing his merchandise, so let's be honest. So I guess they kind of gauged his merchandise sales when they gave him a prominent push. It wasn't really that great, so perhaps they kind of, kicked him to the can. And the thing is, like with the merchandise thing, it really matters of the merchandise they make. You can make shitty merchandise, so you can make really good merchandise for a shitty wrestler, and I would probably buy it. If the shirt looks sick, even if it's a Curtis Axel shirt, I would probably buy it. Perhaps if it's a Bad News Barrett shirt, I probably wouldn't get it, but I mean, if you make a really, really good shirt for a shit wrestler, it could work, But if you make shit merchandise for a top guy, it's not going to sell. It's not going to be appealing. No man is going to wear a pink shirt that says Dolph Ziggler on it. Let's be honest. So, or a baby blue. So you need to kind of, I guess I get it. It kind of fits with the guy, but you gotta get merchandise that kind of appeals to people. Like Randy Orton's merchandise, always kind of I always like that. Triple H's merchandise, always kind of like that. Roman Reigns' shirts, they're pretty cool. Ambrose's shirts are pretty cool. Kevin Owens has got a simple and easy shirt. I like that. So merchandise like that is what appeals to me. I would never buy a Dolph Ziggler shirt. So if they're gauging it on merchandise, they just kind of have to look and assess what merchandise is being made. So I don't think, moral of the story, I don't think Dolph Ziggler's ever going to get a real title push again. This one comes from Callum Burgess. What do you use to record and edit your videos, and what mic do you use? Also, how do you make your videos entertaining for your videos? Well, first of all, I wouldn't call my videos entertaining, but I appreciate that. But what do I use to record and edit my videos? I record using the Elgato HD60. I just bought that. I used to use the Hauppauge HD PVR2 until it just recently died. I also have the AverMedia Live Gamer Portable as well. So either three of them are pretty good. I guess the Elgato is probably the best option now with 60 frames per second. So I would definitely go with that one. What mic do I use? I use the Audio Technica AT2020. That's the new mic that I recently got a few months ago. It's been really, really good. I really like it. And I have not had a problem with it at all. So I highly recommend that microphone. I used to use the Blue Yeti, which did me pretty good for quite some time. But I think the Audio Technica, the AT2020 is about the same price as the Blue Yeti. And I think the quality is better on it as well. But if you're looking for a cheap startup mic, definitely the Blue Snowball is pretty good. I got that in a giveaway not too long ago. I got it for free, and it's not a bad mic. It's small, but it really gets the job done, and it has its own little stand on it as well. So I would say, for a cheap startup mic, the Blue Snowball is probably the go. I think that's $50, I should say. Whereas the AT2020 is around about that $150 to $200 mark, and the Elgato is $200 or something like that as well, $150, $200. So to start up, it's going to cost a lot of money, but you'll get there. And I also use Sony Vegas Pro to Pro 13 or 14 or whatever to edit my videos as well. This one comes from Edgar. He wants to know, who are you going to put in the NXT roster for Universe Mode? Lower card guys or NXT guys or both? Definitely both. It'll be NXT guys, so like, you know, your Kaz and Enzo and all those kind of guys that haven't been put in the game yet. You know, we haven't seen a Universe Mode yet, but are in the game. They'll be in NXT, and you get to see them there, and you kind of get to see their rise to success there. And I also will be putting in the lower card guys that have been struggling, you know, who aren't really doing much. I'll give them a chance in NXT to shine there. So like Heath Slater and Zack Ryder, for example, give them a chance to go to NXT and kind of rebuild there and have some success there. So yeah, both. This one comes from 37 Will Dog. Can you see Bray Wyatt entering the WWE title picture in the next year? I think it's about time Bray thinks about a title, and the Wyatt family kind of look towards titles more. Once they kind of move away from this whole Undertaker-Kane business, you know, the next kind of step for them is to get titles. I mean, you know, to be the most dominant faction, you need to have the titles, in my personal opinion. I get it, the Wyatt family, they don't really need the titles, but I think it would really kind of reaffirm their dominance if they were champions. And I think Bray Wyatt as the WWE champion, I think it could work, and I would like to see it for sure. So, in the next year, I definitely can see Bray Wyatt having a title shot or two. I think it's the next step for Bray and the Wyatt family. I would love to see the Wyatt family as tag team champions. I want to see them in the tag division beating up the New Day pretty soon. So, as for Bray, him as a singles guy hasn't been all that successful. I mean, Bray as a singles guy in the ring is not all that entertaining, let's be honest. But I could definitely see him getting some title matches and kind of being in amongst it. Whether or not he'll get the belt, I doubt it. I can't see him getting the actual title, but I can see him having some opportunities for it. Another one from Edgar. Which pay-per-view will bragging rights replace in Universe Mode? He wants it to be Battleground. It will be Battleground. It was Battleground last year. It'll be Battleground again this year. And as well as that, we'll be adding in the King of the Ring as just an extra show, not replacing anything. So that's the kind of the pay-per-view scheduling I have right now for that. One from Kieso. He wants to know, what has to be done to Neville to save his career, as his career has been shambolic at the moment. I think Neville, honestly, I would put him as a tag team guy. I think you pair him up with someone who's also a high flyer. You pair him up, make him a tag team, and give him a chance to shine there. Him as a singles, dead in the water. It's been not good at all. They obviously don't know what to do with him. He's pretty clear. So I'd put him in a tag team. At least you can get him more exposure, and he won't be lost in that whole mid-card shuffle. There's so many mid-card guys. It's the mid-card of doom. You put him as a tag team, at least he can shine in a small tag team division. So I would put him there, and I just, have him in a prominent role every week. Just being in amongst the tag team titles would be a good idea. You just kind of have to find the perfect fit for him. Do you want to have another high-flying guy with Neville, or do you want to have a big, strong guy to go along with Neville to have that, the fast guy and the strong guy, that kind of mix. So you have to wonder which guy would be the perfect tag team partner for him, and I'm not sure which one would suit best. Who would you put as a high-flying guy? There really isn't that many great high-flyers around, so perhaps maybe the strong guy would work best, and even then, I'm not sure. So, yeah, it's certainly something they can think about. I mean, Neville as a singles, I think, has potential to be a mid-card champion, but I just think the WWE just doesn't know what to do with him. They just brought him up there just for the sake of doing it, and they haven't really, he's just kind of been wandering around feuding with Stardust ever since. This one's from Necess. Do you think that NXT has lost the insane amount of hype that it had last year due to the big name talent that NXT originally had? They've been called up. The question was poorly worded. Sorry. So has NXT lost the hype because of talent moving up, like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Itami being out, and Neville obviously moving up as well? So yeah, it definitely has. It has lost the hype, but I think the problem with NXT is it's a developmental territory. They need to be making sure that these guys are being built up to go to the main roster. So the main focus should be the main roster, not NXT. So yes, NXT's lost its hype, but the problem is, the challenge is, I should say, is bringing in new guys to replace these old guys, and they've done that okay. Samoa Joe coming in, Rhino coming in, Apollo Crews recently, Asuka as well with the Divas. So they've done okay. Obviously, they've lost a lot of talent, but that's going to happen. That's just the way it is. The challenge is replacing that talent with talent just as good, and I think they've done an okay job of it. I think, to me personally, I have never really been an avid NXT watcher. I do check out the TakeOver shows, but there's only a couple matches that I really am interested in. So I think, yes, they have lost a lot of hype, but some injuries have not helped at all. I mean, Itami and Zayn being injured, I think Zayn would have already been moved up instead of Kevin Owens, honestly, but Itami being injured didn't really help anybody. So Kevin Owens moving up, Zayn no longer there. Finn Balor's kind of had to carry the show on his back. He's got Crews there now with him. So there's some good things to look forward to, I think, in NXT. But yes, they've certainly taken a hit. But I think that's just to be expected. Final question comes from a bit of a different question. Comes from Nabakos. What's your opinion on smoking? Are you a smoker yourself? If not, have you ever tried a cigarette? No, I haven't. I have not and never will. I'm not a smoker. Nobody in my family smokes or anything like that. What's my opinion on it? I mean, I think if you're a young person and you start, I think you're an idiot, because there's so much information out there now that, that tells you that it's bad for you and you shouldn't do it. So people starting up now in this current age is kind of ridiculous, but people who, have been doing it all their lives, it's a shame, they can't really help it because, smoking is such a difficult thing to quit. I get that. But my only real problem with it is people who kind of start up now. So just starting up, it's not a good idea. But yes, I never have, and I never will. I haven't tried the other type of smoking either, if you know what I mean. I haven't tried that either. So yeah, I'm a clean cut guy, I guess. I don't know, just not for me. But yeah, so that's going to do it for this week's edition of Let's Talk Tuesdays. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you leave a like on the video. If you have listened to it on your different listening abilities on Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, for example, make sure you leave a favorite on the video, on the podcast, and kind of share out the podcast if you did enjoy it. I do apologize for the lateness again. Obviously, I did the whole podcast and it got deleted, so I had to redo the whole damn thing. So hopefully it wasn't too bad, and looking forward to the next few weeks. It's going to be another couple of stressful weeks. Obviously, exams coming up soon. I'm getting ready to move out in a couple of weeks as well. So, yeah, it's going to be busy, but, busy life is a good life, I think. It's always good to keep yourself busy and keep things going on. So, more Universe Mode content coming this week. Obviously, I want to try and get that Extreme Rules pay-per-view out by the weekend. Let's hope, let's pray I can get there. I think I can. I'm hoping, but we'll see how we go. So guys, thank you so much for checking out this week's edition of Let's Talk Tuesdays. Of course, leave a question for next week on the forums or in the YouTube comment section, and I'll see you all next week.